spit hot fire.
I'm God, bitch!
Look up in the sky, is that a goon or green goblin? None of the above, it's a motherfucking dragon. Super Saiyan 2 to a cell, no problem. You put me in a cell, then you got
Bow down, nigga, I'm God, nigga.
What's going on, world? This is your boy Troy, and I'm your friendly neighborhood NGTOW, and well, I'm your friend. Yes, I'm your friend. I'm your guy. I'm here to help. I'm here to be your guy, right? No homo, right? And what are we gonna talk about today? We're talking about friends. How many of us have them? Friends. Ones we can depend on. Friends. Get that day in there. But look, we're here, and that's what we're gonna talk about. So what got me on my friend mode right here? Well, I was watching, or should I say, I was listening to a show with Stefan Molyneux. Now, if you don't know who Stefan Molyneux is, let me just put a plug. This dude is like the philosopher extraordinaire. Like, this dude is the guy. I mean, I must have listened to, and I'm not bullshitting here when I tell you I must have listened to at least 700 to maybe like 1,000 hours of his content. Like, he has been in my ear for, I'd honestly say at least 700 hours of my life. This dude has been phenomenal in helping me to see a lot of things about myself. Like, getting into his stuff has been like free therapy. I know he's not a therapist or anything like that, but a lot of shit that he says just makes so much sense. He's on point with so many, it just great stuff. And Turd Flinging Monkey, TFM, another great guy, actually brought this up in one of his Twitch podcast things when he was talking about how Steph, he like has this switch where everything is, cool and fine, but when it comes to like marriage, right, it's almost like, and it's weird, right, and I'm pretty sure Steph, he'll defend it to the death, right, but it's like there's this switch that just clicks, and he's all in it. He's all he's all for the marriage thing, and which, and look, I understand. I get why, But so this dude calls in. Oh, and I guess just another thing, obviously. So yeah, this dude calls in, and he's pretty much, he says, "Hey, I don't want to get married. Convince me why." Convince me why I should. And Steph is like, all right, well, we got 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I think. So they're going back and forth with it. And there's a lot, look, and I will say this, Steph made a lot of great points, and then some points were kind of off, and, like I say, it's one of those things where I really listen and pay attention to what he says, because I'm actually, not only am I a subscriber, but I'm also a donator to him. So, it's really one of those things where I try to listen to, when you have good people talking really good shit, you want to support them. I'm just going to keep that awkward. But, so he's, they're going back and forth with these points, and one of the things that Steph said that I disagree with was when he talks about friends, and he uses an argument that many a MGTOW, many a man have heard over and over and over, and it's the loneliness argument, fellas. It's that good old loneliness argument. You're gonna get lonely when you get older. Do you understand? Do you want to be lonely? Do you want to be lonely, my nigga? Do you want to be fucking lonely? It's gonna be hard to get friends. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough, I'm just amped. I don't know what it is. I think that instant coffee's kicking in like a motherfucker right now, but I am in my zone right now, bro. I'm about to go in on friendship right now. Why? Because here's why. I'm your friend. But so friends, you know, he says as you get older, he says, you know, the younger you are, the easier it is to make friends, right? When you're young, and I think he used the standard, what I'll say is college party days, right? When you're young and you're in college and, you know, you just party and make friends and we're all just doing our thing, right? I don't know who dances like this no more, but you know, when you're partying, you can make all the friends in the world, but you know, as time goes on, life happens, and as life happens, less people are available to you. Makes sense. But one of the things he says is that as you get older, more people, they get married, and they pair off, they have kids, and there's going to be less and less people available. And that makes sense, all right? What he says makes total and complete 100% sense. What he says is pretty much right on the money. It is absolutely right. So, what the fuck am I talking about when I say that what he says is bullshit? I say that what he says is bullshit because what he says is 100% absolute true and correct and right for his generation. You see, he's coming from a mindset in which you know, from a mindset and from a generation in which that was the norm. You see, a reason why he could say that is because, you know, he grew up in a time when marriage was more common, divorce was less common. So we have more people growing up and getting married and, you know, branching off and doing their own thing. And, you know, as a single person, yes, things have gotten lonelier. Why? Because everybody's doing the traditional thing and everybody's doing more of that. So from his perspective, it makes 100% sense. The problem is, and I do believe that he was talking to someone around my age, and if you're around my age, then our age, he wasn't talking to someone like me or you or us, people of the millennial ilk, which we're going to be facing an entirely different situation moving forward. Now, here's what I have to say, all right? As we get older, the reality that we find is going to be a hell of a lot different than the reality that Steph said. I don't know how old Steph is. I think 49, 50. I'm just going to say 50. Right? I'm just going to say 50. So his premise is only correct if the world that I'm going to live in, this is me. Hi, I'm me with the watch, and this will be Steph with the bracelets. So here's me with the watch, right? So the world that I come into when I'm 50 is going to be similar to the world that he currently inhabits now as a 50-year-old, and I don't think that this world is going to be anything like this world, and here's why. There's a number of reasons, and I think one of them is that good old. I need to drum on some divorce rate, right? I think that. Look, we millennials, we're really in this weird fucking situation, right? Now, everybody remembers, you know, Fight Club and, you know, Tyler Durden, and Tyler Durden was like, you know, we're the forgotten middle children of history, right? Well, we as millennials, we're the neglected baby children of history. Well, that's a good one. I just can't. That was off the top of the. That was the top of the dome right here. Ugh, we are the neglect. I'm sorry. How was that? Someone rewind that. What did I say? The neglected baby children of history. That's pretty much our role, right? We are like the kids that the older fucking Brady Bunch here. What's the old bitch's name? Marsha. Okay, yeah, Marsha. She was like the scholar, and she did all the. She went, she went to college and feminism, and probably got her man and did the thing, and then the middle children got like no love, and then we're like that kid that comes along after like the parents they're like, all right, look, we already had a couple kids, fuck it, I mean, I guess you're already pregnant, we got another one. Right? We're putting all the money and effort and resources into our older child who, she's in college now, so she's getting all the college fund is going to her, and now she's got a wedding to pay for, so we're going to throw money for her wedding and this and that, and then, oh, that's right, the middle child, they need braces, and I mean, I guess we can kick them down a little thing, and we're sitting here like, fuck. Shit, I'm here. And now I'm sorry, but I'm going off on a tangent. But let's get back to talking about friendship. But and that'll be a thought that I'm gonna make a note of that. I'll probably make a separate video about that. But what does this have to do with friendship and divorce? Well, as we can see, the divorce rate is decreasing, or should I say increasing? I guess if you're divorcing, yeah, it's increasing. So we are that generation that it's almost like some of us, we're kind of at that point when we're gonna try one more time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just at that range where it's like there's enough traditionalists to give it one more go. Like, there's enough people that have gone through church and enough of our generation that we're just like, fuck it, bro. We gonna give it one more go. Like, that's what we do. I don't even know what that, I'm horrible at, impressions and whatnot, but I think there's gonna be enough of us that go through it and it's not gonna last. Like, as we can see, there are no signs, there are no statistics, there are no anything that says that this whole divorce thing is gonna go down. And now, when they say, well, you millennials, you're the most entitled generation of all, and which is bullshit, but you guys are the most narcissistic, and which is bullshit. But let's say that everything they say is correct. Well, then, what makes you think? And this is what I would say to someone like Steph, or to a traditionalist or somebody. I'd say, what makes you think that trend is going to reverse itself? You think that these women, are somehow going to get the grit within them that the women of past generate, like the Gen X and before them and everybody else, you think that they're gonna get just out of nowhere, just materialize the grit that previous two generations, at least the previous one generation, they didn't have? You think this is gonna magically all of a sudden women are just gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I think that we've taken enough from men. I think that we're done kicking them in the balls, and we really just want to come together, and we really just want to be a happy family unit. I think that's that. You think that's going to happen on the whole? No. Divorce rates are going to increase. And look, and to my brothers, and by the way, let me say this. I know personally men who have gotten married and are going through divorces or have divorced, or whose wives and are just complete cunts, and I do mean that in the worst, most vile sense of the word. Just like when you see an African American and he's just doing that shit, and you're just like, that's a nigger, bro. Like, that's a N-I, 3 G's, 3 E's, and 3 R's. Nigger. Like, you just rolled the G's and the R in that motherfucker. Just that shit, that South, that just made like watermelon seeds spitting on the porch monkey looking ass niggers. Just, I know the way that feels is the way that I mean cunt. Hard T, hard C, hard cunt. I'm telling you. So yes, I predict many more divorces. But I predict many more divorce. This is assuming that the divorce happens in the first place. And when I say that, because this is assuming that the marriage happens in the first place, because lo and behold, what do the statistics say? Well, the statistics say we're not even getting married at the same rate as what we used to. Right? We're as people used to before. By the time you're 25, 26, 27, in a traditional world, you had a wife and a kid. You were at least working on another kid, and you had the house and everything like that. And now we're like, fuck that. I don't even want to get married. You know? So we're going to be coming into a world that by the time I'm 50, most of the men I know are either going to be A, divorced, or B, lifelong bachelors, never married, right? That's the world that I'm going to be going into. So when I look, I'm saying, and that's what the statistics say. So I'm going to be looking around like, okay, well, there's plenty of people to choose from, plenty of friends, and at the same time, what's going to be the one thing, and it's almost weird, what's going to be like the one thing that kind of binds us together? In a weird way, it's going to be gynocentrism, right? Because regardless if you're black, if you're white, if you're, if you're tall, short, fat, skinny, whatever, one thing that's going to combine us all is like this whirlwind of just womanhood. Right? But by the time we all get older, there's going to be a couple things. There's going to be like by the time I'm 50, there's going to be a couple things that's going to be a mainstay. The first thing is this whirlwind of womanhood. The second thing is going to be extreme ball. Now, what is extreme ball? Extreme ball is going to be like the next football hybrid. It's going to be the next sport. I don't know, whatever the fuck it's going to be, right? What I really mean by extreme ball, it's going to be like man shit, right? Regardless of who we are, we like to sit around, we like to watch, men bang our heads into shit, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be sitting there watching extreme ball, talking about how our ex-wives and girlfriends and things of that nature and blah 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 blah. So there's always gonna be a point, and even if it's not us, it's gonna be someone that we know. We're gonna be facing a different reality. Right? And so for the people that want to hold on to this thing and say, oh, well, you're going to get older and it's going to be harder to get friends. It's going to be a lot harder. Well, at the same time, I'd say, all right, well, because we like to be logical here. What do the statistics say? Now, are the statistics pointing to a world in which this is correct and things pretty much stay the same, where people get married, have kids, and stay the same, and da-da-da-da-da? Or are the statistics saying, hey, this is going to be a lot more, particularly with men? I guess that's why we're here. But are we pointing to a world in which there's going to be a lot more single men to do shit with? No, obviously there's going to be kids involved. I understand. Look, there's always unintended consequences. There's always things that you can't account for and things of that nature, which I understand. But as far as this notion that you're going to grow older and just you're not gonna have people to hang out with. It's just look, I'm gonna be honest. I honestly think that we're reaching oh shit, here comes another one. You know when you're talking your shit and you just have like another thought that just pops into your head? Here we go. Got to get back on screen. Here we go. I predict that by the time I'm 50, or should I say, by the time my generation is 50, right? It's not going to be the singles that are lonely. Particularly, we're talking about men, right? It's not going to be the singles that are going to be the lonely ones. I predict the people that are going to be lonely are going to actually be the married ones. Because first of all, I think by the time I'm 50, there's going to be so few married guys. Right? Because I mean because that's part of the thing, right? You grow older, you get married, you get hitched, and then you get around more married couples, right? And then you guys do married things together and all this other stuff. I mean, you know, if that's what it is, okay, cool, fine. But I think there's going to be less and less and less and less and less married couples to do things with. So now you're stuck with, I mean, at the same time, like, look, here's the thing. I hope the person that you are stuck with is someone that you really like. And at the same time, if I'm using the word stuck with, then, you know, that kind of tells you a little bit about how I kind of feel about your situation. Like I said, I'm speaking for my generation. Right? So if you're an older head and you're like, well, I don't agree, and right, you grew up in a different paradigm. I'm talking about the here and the now. I'm talking about my generation. I'm looking at men like me, and I'm looking at women in my generation, and what I'm telling you is that it is not looking good. First person perspective here, right? So the people that grow up and you're gonna get married, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty of, you know, this and that, you know, there's gonna be some couples and some good things, but I'm just being honest, by the time that happens, it's gonna be the married guys that are gonna be lonely, because they're gonna be looking out just like that. They're gonna be looking out like a kid who's being grounded, looking out the window, looking at all the other kids play. Watching them doing all the things that playing ball, you know, why you just watch them playing kickball on the street. God damn, how old is that? Kickball. Right? Niggas haven't played kickball in like, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years. I don't even know how fucking long. Have you played kickball? When's the last time you played kickball? I don't know. On the street, no less. But that's what it's gonna be like, and it's gonna be guys like me, guys that are older, that you know, more MGTOW men. I mean, even the guy. Look, here's the thing. Even the guys that can't stay away from the pussy, which I understand. It's our biological imperative. Those guys that are like us, right? Or even the guys that can't, they're not getting married either. And that creates a little bit of distance and separation to give that man the freedom to do what he really wants to do. And we're going to be coming into a world in which guys like me, Sandman, TFM, all these guys, like, we're getting the word out to men to like, yo, be you. Go your own way. Do your own thing. By the time I'm 50, MGTOW is going to be old as shit. By the time I'm 50, it's just going to be common knowledge. Honestly, by the time I'm Steph's age, people are gonna laugh at you. Like, why the fuck? Like, men, we're gonna sit around and we're gonna look at this thing the same way that we now look at racist white people back in the day. You know, like, we're gonna be looking at traditionalism the same way that we look at like the fucking Klan, right? We're gonna be looking back like, why the fuck did they even do that? we're really gonna be sitting around like, do married couples even exist anymore? Like even then, like, so let's take that, the Klan and married people. You know, the Klan, we're sitting here like, dude, does the Klan even exist anymore? Like, we know that there's chapters, right? We know that they have a speech every now and again. We know that we know that you're here, you know. But if you're first of all, if you're a Klan member, you made it this far, goddamn, I mean, you might want to rearrange your alliance, right? But for Klan members, I think I just aligned myself with the Klan for a weird way, but you know, that's the way we look at them. It's going to be the same way. By the time we're older, we're going to be like, are there even married people around? Are you serious? Not saying we're not going to couple, not saying that we're not going to, but it's going to be a totally different world. You know, so in order for what Steph says to be true and for what traditionalists say to be true, and in order for, like, they have to bank on the fact or bank on the assumption that the times that we're going to live in is going to be the same as the times that they're living in, which will not be the case. Which brings up another interesting point, another interesting topic that I want to come into when it comes to you know, friendship and all this other things. And you know, because at the same time, I get it, we're men and we want most of us want, you know, female attention. And so let me kind of explain why I think that there's going to be less and less marriage. You see, because now, obviously, what we see here with millennial generation is we are going to be a generation that's going to, and I believe this, maybe this is my optimism, but we are going to be the generation that's going to be defined as the late bloomer generation. I believe that, you know, we're like they say, oh, now, like, and they say it like it's a bad thing. Oh my God, look at these millennials. They have a longer, extended adolescence. You know, and what is adolescence? Adolescence is simply the time that, you know, you take to figure things out for yourself, right? It's not necessarily immaturity, right? It's not necessarily, you know, like everybody thinks that it's motherfuckers is playing video games. It's time taken to figure shit out for yourself, and eventually that time's gonna come when, as a generation, particularly as men, where we figure things out, when we figure out what we want to do. And part of that figuring out is like, okay, well, let me look at the whole religion thing. Okay, that's all right. Now let me look at this whole government thing. Is that okay? Now let me look at you know, this money thing, banking, you know, finance. Okay, now let me look at you know, this marriage thing. Okay, all right. Now, and finally, eventually, it's gonna click, and when it clicks, we're gonna do our thing. And you know, by that time, look, here's the thing about extended adolescence, and I'm probably going to do a whole nother video on this, but by the time that we figure out all of this stuff, we're gonna, like, how do I say it? It's gonna come at a point in our lives when as men, right, our brains are gonna be more fully developed. We're gonna have, you know, how do I say it? We're going to be thinking clearer, and we're going to be thinking with a lot more rationality and facts than other previous generations. That people before, they just got married to get married because that was the thing to do. No one really thought about it. We're the generation that's thinking about it. Now, I know a lot of older generation, well, why don't you stop thinking and just start doing and all this other good shit? Right. That's what got the previous generation that we're looking at, that's what got you fucked up. Now, we're the ones that come across that, like, we're the ones that kind of come onto the battlefield looking at the bodies on the field, and we're like, whew, how'd those get there? And then we're seeing guys run off and then just get IED. Boom! Oh, shit, there's landmines here. All right, let's think this through. Okay. But, look, that's just one of the things I wanted to talk about. I know I did a lot of rambling. I did a lot of talking about some other things, but as far as friendship and shit goes, don't worry about it. If you're younger and you're like, man, well, what if I get old? Look, there's gonna be plenty of motherfuckers to talk to. plenty of people to hang around. At the same time, when you get older, I mean, as far as what I can tell, like I say, I'm not older. I'm not that, you know, so I'm assuming, right? But I'm assuming that as you get older, you kind of want to spend more time, you know, in general. And this is what I've noticed. You kind of want to spend more time alone anyway. You got, you know, you don't need to be around all the people, like the party days. Yeah, party, college, yeah. And you get older, you're like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with just sitting on the couch and getting into my hobbies and like, I don't need all of that. You know, and I think another thing that, another point, you know, that Steph brings up and a lot of other people bring up when they talk about friendship is that, you know, when, you know, don't you want a friend for life, a companion, this and that? I mean, don't, like, honestly, like, now look, if you have that relationship with somebody and you grow up and, you know, you guys can be best friends for life and you can do it, look, great. I'm not hating on that at all. Good for you. And if you come from a former generation and look, I found my soulmate and all, well, look, hey, good, great for you. Good. At the same time, like, I'm looking here and now, and at least people like me and most men I know, we're just, and maybe this is men in general, I mean, I don't know, but we're just not into the same shit. I don't care about most things that women particularly give a shit about. I don't care. What are we gonna talk about? You know, especially, I mean, I just, and I don't want to talk about me in particular, but like, I like to talk shit and I like to, you know, I mean, no homo, I like to be around men and talk about men shit. You know, like, I've had, I mean, honestly, like, well, don't you want to have a friend for life and this and that and da-da-da-da-da? Look, I've obviously, I mean, I think this should go without saying, but, you know, most of my, actually, all of my mentors and all of my good friends have all been men. On everything I just said, what do you think? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna cut out now. I've been talking my shit for far too long. So, with that, there is an article. It's gonna be at beaushit.com. And what I want you to do, go to the link below, read the article. It's not going to be as long as the shit that I've been talking, but go ahead and read the article. If you want to support the channel, MENlightenment Manual, Troy Mason Exchange, a lot of great things there. We want to provide more and more value to you. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up and you know, leave a comment. But you know, with that, I'm gonna cut out. This has been your boy Troy, your friend, and I will see you on the other side. Shit, killing that shit.
The dick was good. Well, this is the only problem, though. She said the dick was so good that as she started rocking, she just got into it, and all of a sudden, she said something just hit her. Bam! All upside his head. Just slapped him. Dick will make you slap somebody. So y'all need to remember that. That's what I'm trying to deal with. The fact.
More like constipated, cause you know I do not take shit. Maybe I may give shit. Give this misfit. Like a small condom on this dick. Words are like bullets and my bullets go ballistic. Beat hit hard, Ray Lewis, hold a hit stick.